Hi guys, okay, so today I want to talk to you about perfectionism, about the crazy amount of pressure that we put on ourselves to be perfect in every area and keep on top of stuff. And especially as a mom, I'm going to say we're probably really pretty hard on ourselves and we think we've got to take on every single job that there is going and keep control of everything and still function. We put this kind of pressure on ourselves. And I sent this out, I sent a story out in my emails that I send out to those of you who are on my email list today. So if you're not on that list, I will pop that below, get on that list so that you can get stuff from me, free stuff and all sorts, great stuff. And I was talking about that in there, and I want to share my experience of that with you guys as well. So my experience a few years back, and I've talked about this openly, I got to my limit and I was doing all the stuff that I always do. I was meditating and I was looking after myself and I was trying to think positive and I was working on myself and doing loads and loads of mindset stuff, and I just hit a brick wall. And I found myself in a position where I was really not well. I was cold sores and spots and ulcers, not, skinny and really not feeling good. I was like a zombie. 1 minute I was up a height, next minute I was down on the floor, and I just wasn't getting stuff right. At the time I had my husband grade 4 brain cancer, my brother-in-law had leukemia, I'm a mum of 2 kids, I was running a business, I was looking after a team of people. It was a lot and I was at my limit, and I got to the point where I found myself in a therapist office talking through some of these things that I had going on, some of these challenges. And she said to me, okay, so you're a coach. What would you say to somebody if they came to you and told you their story? The same story that you're telling me, and they said they had all the stuff that you've got going on, what would you say to them? And I said, I'd want to give them a hug, and I would say, give yourself a break, be kind to yourself. You are one person. Don't run around like that. You've got to try and find bite-sized things and just be good at that one thing and focus your attention on that, and drown out the noise, and where can you cut back, and you've got to eat correctly. And I would give all this great advice. And she said to me, okay, I hear you. This is what you're saying. She repeated it back. And why aren't you giving yourself that advice? So why aren't you doing that? And I thought about it. And I said, because I expect more of myself. And even as the words left my lips, I felt ridiculous, because it was a game changer. It was a moment for me of real clarity where I went, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm not living the things that I'm talking about. I'm running about like a headless chicken. And it's ridiculous, and it has to stop. And that was so clear for me in looking at it that way. And I think we do have to do that sometimes. We have to think, if somebody came to me with the same stuff, what advice would I offer? And then take our own advice. But what I realized is that we can't be perfect. If we try and be perfect, our lives will be imperfect. Because as human beings, we are flawed and we can't do everything. And you can't do everything. I know there's this fallacy online, particularly of hustle, hustle, hustle all the time, and you've got to be super mom, and you've got to be skinny, and you've got to be down the gym, and girls who lift, and you've got to be everything to everyone. It's bollocks, and you don't have to be that. What you have to do is have a nice life that works around what your needs are. And some days you won't get it right. Some days the washing will pile up, you'll look a mess, your children will go to school in trainers, or they will go to school in shoes. No, they should go to school in shoes. But anyway, you'll forget their packed lunchbox, or you'll forget their assembly, or you'll mess up because you're a human being. And you've got to start being kind to yourself. Because what's the point? What is the point? There's all this outside pressure in the world, all this information that we're constantly bombarded with. Why are you then adding to that by bullying yourself in your own head? It's a bit crazy when we think about it. So what my advice to you would be, just give yourself a break, okay? You are already enough. Sometimes you're gonna mess up. So what? You're just a human being. You're doing your best. You're not gonna be perfect. And I know some of you perfectionists are sat there going, she didn't know me. She doesn't know what I can handle. Okay, well, we'll talk in a few months' time or a year down the line when you are collapsed on the floor, exhausted, or having a heart attack, or any other terrible stress-related affliction. Just give yourself a break, okay?